It is all over the Constitutional Council after 2 long days of examination and deliberation on 35 litigations tabled before the Council by presidential aspirants whose files were rejected by the Electoral Board of Elections Cameroon on the 26th of July 2025. Amongst the petitions dismissed, most of them on the basis of absence of justification, was that of the Manidem political party that endorsed the candidacy of Professor Maurice Kamto and that of Yebgat Dieudonné for the October 12 presidential elections.
The Electoral Board on the 26th of July 2025 unanimously rejected certain candidates who did not comply with the legal and statutory provisions as enshrined in the Electoral Code. They were rejected, and in the case of Kamto and Yega Didone, they were all invested by a single political party. Professor Kamto had an investiture from Manindem. Alongside, Yega Didone equally have an investiture from Manindem. So the multiplicity of candidates cannot be allowed because it's only one candidate that is permissible to represent a political party in view of any presidential election.
About 6 petitions were filed against the CPDM party by some individuals requesting for the annulation of the candidacy of President Paul Biya, which petitions were rejected after meticulous examination of the arguments put before the Constitutional Council.
The Constitutional Council has demonstrated very strong Republican institutional courage, institutional wisdom, and I'm very impressed by the objectivity and the openness and the sensitivity that it showed. Everyone was given a chance for all the 35 petitions that were here. As an institution of the Republic, which has the final say in matters of elections, I think that the Constitutional Council has shown that in democracy, apart from the freedoms that we enjoy, the institutions and the laws are there. And as long as the institutions and the laws are there and are applied by the men and women, such as the 11 members of the Constitutional Council, I think that our democracy has a great future.
And what about the case filed in by Leon Telaonanam against the candidacy of President Paul Biya?
The case between Leon Telaonanam and the CPDM, which he filed a petition, the reasons that he advanced in his petitions were not founded at law. They were baseless and very defective, based on the fact that he does not have the local standard for admissibility and eligibility. The CPDM political party has a national chairman who naturally, in case of presidential election, is the only eligible candidate to stand.
The separate petitions from Abdurrahman Baba, Professor Bayebek and Nyam Timban of the UPC party were also dismissed for plurality investiture in defiance of the law in force, as well as that of Robert Conan, who pleaded in vain for the annulation of Cabral Ibi's candidacy, validated by Electoral Board and later by the Constitutional Council. Meanwhile, the hope of Zipa Hilemake to run for the 2025 presidential election was washed away following a petition contesting its legitimacy by officials of the MP party and approved by the Constitutional Council. Of the 13 candidates approved by the Electoral Board, 12 succeeded to cross the finish line.
My first impression is that it is the law that prevailed, because the Constitutional Council is the body that decides on the constitutionality of laws, and their role is to apply the law. Candidates wishing to become President of the Republic have to compile their files in respect with strict provisions of the Electoral Code, particularly its sections 117 to 124. So if any candidate deposits a candidacy file that lacks any one of those documents, it will be an outright rejection. And that is exactly the work that Elecam was called upon to do. With regards to most of the independent candidates whose candidacy papers were rejected, it was because, of course, they failed to respect the dispositions that are provided for in the Electoral Code. Justice was done and justice was seen to be done.
At the end of the day, everyone left the courtroom of the Constitutional Council satisfied or not, but with the general sentiment that justice was not only done, but also seen to be done.